Next week, 3 federal death row prisoners are set to be executed in Terre Haute. One of them has a temporary stay of execution, and a 4th is slated for August. These will be the first execution since the early 2000s. All this week, News 10 has special coverage as we prepare for executions to take place for the first time in 17 years. This evening, our Heather Good looks back at the last federal executions.
Terre Haute is now home to the only active federal execution chamber. That means prisoners sentenced to death will eventually come here. The last execution to happen here was Louis Jones Jr. He died in March of 2003 by lethal injection. A jury in Texas found him guilty of killing 19-year-old Army Private Tracy McBride. According to the investigation, he kidnapped her, sexually assaulted her, and beat her to death with a tire iron. Jones was a decorated Gulf War veteran. His attorney claimed his exposure to Iraqi nerve gas left him with severe brain damage. Before that was Juan Raul Garza. He died by lethal injection in June of 2001. In 1993, he was convicted of drug trafficking, money laundering, and 3 counts of murder in Texas. He was a drug trafficker. The prosecution said he murdered or ordered the murders of 3 other drug traffickers. Timothy James Mcveigh was executed just 1 week before Garza. He was convicted of the Oklahoma City bombing, which happened in 1995. 168 people died in the attack. The FBI says it reviewed nearly 1 billion pieces of information in the investigation. Mcveigh's execution drew a lot of public interest as many people were familiar with what happened. Protesters for and against the death penalty, along with news crews, swarmed Terre Haute.
Killing in anybody's name is not right.
And I think that if anybody deserves the death penalty, it is him.
Mcveigh was the first execution at the then new Special Confinement Unit, or death row, in Terre Haute. Before Mcveigh, the last federal execution took place in 1963 in Iowa. Back to you.
According to the Death Penalty Information Center, there are 62 federal inmates currently on death row. Those include Dylan Roof and Dzhokhar Tsarnaev. Roof was convicted of the deadly church shooting in South Carolina. 9 parishioners died. Tsarnaev was convicted in the Boston Marathon bombing. He was sentenced to death for 2 of the victims killed. The Department of Justice has not yet announced dates for their executions.